Alright, welcome back. Hello. And if you just joined us on the stream, you're watching the 32Boys1Cup round of 8. This is, again, a bit of a group stage rematch. We'll get more into the nerdy points of that in a moment, but spawning down here in the bottom left corner of the map, playing for Axiom Esports, it's going to be the Blue Protoss, CranK.
Nipper Red Oz, the Red Zerg, Samsung Galaxy Solar.
Gosh, you know, I feel like there's so much to talk about with both these players. You know, a bit of personal connections to both, bit of a fanboy moment for both, but you know, while we were playing this really awesome set right now, we got this cool rematch, and we'll definitely talk about the sponsors here shortly, guys. I can't help but wonder, like, what is in the future for both these guys. It's two very dynamic differences of players. Solar's actually been winning quite a few tournaments, and it's really great, and I'm very happy for him. And I'm not too worried about his 2015, wherever he ends up playing, whether it's, you know, Korea. I mean, it's really the only place he can play with all these new leagues coming out. And my curiosity strikes, like, you know, what really goes on with CranK past this. I would love to see him in more. Sadly, there's not a whole lot of team leagues going on, and while CranK is, like, he's got to be hands down one of the smarter Protoss players I know. We've just not really seen big tournament results from him. Yeah.
Solar obviously is going to stay in Korea because of Pro League unless he changes teams. But CranK, I mean,
Axiom got screwed by WCS 2015.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it did. And you know, Total Biscuit has said multiple things on the subject. Go search his SoundCloud, or that's what he uses to talk or whatever. But with the new leagues opening up, it doesn't look quite as grim. It's still just like the case of, especially if I believe players allowed to participate in both. I could be wrong on this though. I don't know if they've announced it yet. You're still gonna have like 32 players, the best players in Korea, fighting it out for that tournament. And you're actually, there's so many people in Korea now, so many great players, that you actually can't say that CranK is top 32 Korean anymore, really. And that's, oh, you have to like really, like, you know, up his game if you want to be in that tournament. So no idea what's gonna happen with this guy, but you know, the here and now, he's been practicing really hard for this tournament. You know, he absolutely demolished Huck in kind of a funny fashion because he studied really hard and he took this very seriously.
I loved his incidental BM too, for those who missed that particular set. But yeah, I don't know, like, he did beat Solar before, so it's not like this is an impossibility. It's not like there's just no way CranK could ever win this series, right? Like, this already happened once and he won the first time around. But as we discussed before, in tournaments, anytime there tends to be rematches through brackets after a group stage or even in a group stage, it tends to go the other way around.
I think that really requires a group, though, right?
That's true. That could be very true. That could be true. I don't know. I'm not the expert on curses. I just know that I can't cast for Young anymore. That's about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. We can't. But that's kind of the point, though, is that CranK did beat this guy, and he can do it again. And he is a smart player, and he does practice very hard, and he has a bunch of outlets to do so. You know, Impact being the well, the only Zerg teammate he has for now, anyways. So I guess he's been practicing with him, of course, but. Really looking forward to what he can show us that he's been practicing. It is a best of 3, unfortunately, and while like the other two series, especially that, I think like the last series actually was like so close that I wish it was a best of 5. This one I really wish it was a best of 5.
Well, see, I don't know. Like, I think in a best of 5, Nurchio may still have gotten 3-0'd, but like, damn, those were close games. Yeah,
exactly. Like that you know, wasn't just like a good thing, you know, that was like a waste of time or anything like that. Which it's never a waste of time to cast StarCraft with these players, but.
It's never a waste of time to cast StarCraft with you, Zombie Grill.
No.
Okay. Nope. So, while we get the game starting to ramp up here, I want to give a small nod and thank you to our sponsors for the tournament as we get into this best of 3. Proxy.gg, CM Storm, and of course Chess Gaming. Make sure you guys check all of them out. Oops, camera went a little bit crazy there. We do have links for each of them being periodically posted in chat, so make sure to visit and follow and tweet and whatnot.
It's a 5-gate. I was like, oh, 4-gate on the way. Wait, that's 4-gate's producing. What am I doing wrong here?
5-gate's a little bit interesting. He does have this heavier sentry camp that's already revealed. I mean, to see 3 sentries in the early game like this is a little bit odd. It's not totally out of place. I mean, it's Protoss, for goodness sake.
Ooh.
Yeah,
see, what's important, though, is I think he has to make sure that Overlord doesn't get a scout, though. Like a real scout.
Yeah. I feel like this is such an odd number of gateways to have for what
it is. But we've been seeing this a lot more, as in we see it at all, I guess. is this 5 gateway attack. Obviously, one more gateway than a 4 gate, so it's a little more dedicated, but it also has a little more power. It doesn't look like he's really gonna do. No, he's pushing out. Okay, all right. So there's a pylon over there on the left side. That's what I was looking for. Proxy pylon is in position. No overlord scouted, I believe, but Solar's already producing units.
He killed Huck and then like took his power of the ninja probe. He assimilated it Mega Man style.
Obviously.
That's a lot of sentries. That's what makes this scary. This third base, I mean, too many times we've seen this go down where you come here and you use the hatchery actually as part of the wall against your opponent. I really like that Solar's building spines. The question is, like, will this be enough to tip it in his favor? It's a lot of slow lings and a couple of roaches. The amount of force fields available to CranK are definitely going to be in his favor coming into this fight, so to say the least.
Yeah, good force fields right there. Those zealots just sliced everything up on those side of the force fields, but the spines are still alive, and he really doesn't have a lot to actually deal with them. Solar, just by the fact that he made any units whatsoever, was already on his way to defending against this. You know, like, gateway attacks are usually very much so about surprising your opponent, as opposed to just, like, you know, brute forcing your way through like a 2-base immortal, for instance. So CranK, I think it is wise for him to just, like, pull back after that. You got some units, you lost a sentry, you know, zealots or whatever. You can posture, but be ready to do that recall.
Yeah, just even forcing out a lot of units is almost indirect damage at this point too. Because for Solar's sake, I mean, any Zerg player, you want to get to like 70, 80 drones, whatever you can get to, as like fast as you can, right? Like drone, and then drone some more. But back at home, he set up this pylon for defense. He really didn't want Solar doing some sort of weird Zergling counterattack behind this. As far as his follow-up to this, though, like CranK going for that Blink Stalker, going for the +2 weapon upgrade. He's going to keep playing this to what is regular time. He's I got to tell you, like, if there's one thing I can credit CranK for, truthfully, that he will consistently do well, it is control. His units, his blink, his force fields, rarely do we see him like mess up and go like, wow, what a stupid blink forward or what a crazy blink back. Usually it's exactly what it needs to be where it needs to be. So coming into this composition, I kind of like this, but at the same time for Solar, like, he's taking a gold base. Is this really something that's going to snowball? Is this something that's going to catch him off guard? And like right now with the army supply being so crazy out of hand for Solar, I'm thinking it's going to be no.
I think Solar is about to do an attack. You know, he stopped droning because he's actually on a pretty good drone count to do so, 62. He's going to have speed, he's going to have burrow as well, and CranK does not have any detection. That's going to be a big deal. He's going to attack, and CranK will need those perfect force fields. You know, CranK does have very solid micro and macro. It's not flashy, he's not parting, unless he 2 gets Huck, because that was pretty flashy, but otherwise not so much. But it is solid, and he really is going to need that to defend against this. Solar is up by 70 supply. It's all in roaches, mind you, so it is inflated, but it's a scary attack.
It might be inflated, but still, those numbers, it's triple digits versus double digits. I mean,
yeah, almost double digits. One stalker dies, and it will be.
Okay, well, right now, there's that wall. Oh, actually, he took down the pylons. There's not a full wall up. I don't know if he saw that burrow. I mean, like, Robo's on the way. Like, he knows he needs observers anyway. It's not like he can just magically force them out right now. But these force fields kind of just being counteracted here by that burrow attack. One burrow does go down. A couple of the Zerglings who slip by. Going to catch this one sentry. That's a little unfortunate. Still trying to buy himself time with these sentries. Not a bad idea whatsoever. Guardian Shield going off in the back, too. Make sure to minimize this damage. But CranK has got to get an observer to the front lines.
He has an observer now. Now he needs to worry about getting an immortal. He doesn't have any gas for it, though. If he could warp in a bunch of zealots.
The immortal, I think, would be a great thing to have, but I think stalkers in this scenario are going to be the weapon of choice, so to speak. You know, you want to have, like, an immortal or two is good, but it's the stalkers that snowball, right?
That's true. It still is, you know, holdable with just the blink stalkers, but immortals are what's really going to just power through.
Well, this is what he's going to need. This is where Immortals definitely wouldn't be good. As the Roach is on top of the army, CranK needs to blink backwards. Roaches pop up on top of everything. I don't know if he realized that was actually going to happen or not. He definitely saw that coming, but still backing away towards the Nexus. He's taking some pretty good fights, some decent trades, but the army supply for Solar is still just wildly out of hand. And with that gold base economy, I mean, he's sitting on 2,200 minerals a minute. It's going to be so hard to keep up with this. GG. So that right there is